Hello, Internet! My name is Catherine Barsonistis, and you are watching the Gluttonous Geek Presents Munchies and Minis, a cooking show where I make recipes inspired by various tabletop role-playing games, such as Shadowrun, Pathfinder role-playing game, and in the case of today, Dungeons & Dragons. Now, if you're not really familiar with my show, a lot of the recipes that I end up finding, or I guess making up for this show, come from a series of various supplements from Dungeons & Dragons called the Volo's Guides. Within the, well, I wouldn't say the first campaign setting, but the most widely played campaign setting for Dungeons & Dragons, the Forgotten Realms, Faerun campaign setting, the bard Volo is, well, he's a bard. And you actually do see him in Baldur's Gate 3, but that's another conversation for another time. Volo has a series of guides that are kind of like a travel guide to various realms throughout Faerun. This one recipe that we are making today comes from Volo's Guide to Baldur's Gate 2, which I'm pretty sure he didn't name that, but it's the kind of marketing reference that wasn't Wizards at the time. I want to say the God, who owned it? TSR, I think, owned them back then. Because of the video game Baldur's Gate 2 had come out not that long ago, so they thought it would be a good idea to add kind of a travel guide supplement to go along with that game in case anyone wanted to play within that particular area that is featured within Baldur's Gate 2, which is the city of Athkala within the country of which is very similar to medieval and Renaissance Spain as far as kind of a real-life equivalent is. Anyway, this particular recipe comes from the Stargath house in the town of Perskul. Perskul is south of Am, kind of a sort of granary city, kind of the breadbasket of, like, I want to say central or southeast. But Stargath House, even though it's kind of tucked away from everything, is actually kind of a gourmand's delight. Oddly enough, I do have the description right here, if you want me to go ahead and read it. This quiet, well-appointed house of hospitality lurks behind a row of granaries and is flanked by its own stables. The visitor who can find it discovers a gem of an old manor house, made over into a small but quietly comfortable inn. Stargath House was once the home of Ulden Stargath, rebel and ultimately the last son of the once wealthy and powerful Arklan family. Ulden disappeared decades ago, and the inn is run by a large band of semi-retired adventurers who admit to no band name. The group includes a number of tall, graceful, and beautiful women in their ranks. I'm not going to list that off because Volo is a perv. And they're known to have extensive cellars, locally thought to be where adventurers now store their treasure, blah blah blah. And whatever Ulden Stargath's fate or evil deeds, his former home sets a good table. Welcome Soup proves to be a robust steaming moot of smoked bacon and black bean, swirled with thick cream and garnished with mint on top and chives below. So yeah, that's what we're going to be making today, the Welcome Soup. This was a recipe voted on by my Patreon subscribers, so if you happen to be a Patreon follower, let's make some soup. If you're not a Patreon follower, let's make some soup. So, also, just kind of give you a point of reference too, since the soup doesn't actually take all that long to make, and I still need a third blog post recipe for my Patreon subscribers, as well as, for the blog, we're going to be making in tandem another recipe tonight. It's going to be the Lantern Fruit Relleno from the video game Battle Chef Brigade, made by the the Orc Thrash, and I've done a lot of Battle Chef Brigade recipes on the blog before, but this will be the second one from Thrash, and it's also been a long time, so we're going to be doing that kind of interspersed throughout. Anyway, that means I need to get started, so let's do that. So, for a lot of Spanish cooking, and the reason why I'm saying Spanish, in case you just joined the stream, the country of is very close to, it's kind of a medieval Renaissance Spain as far as a real-life equivalent is concerned. The standard sofrito in Spanish cooking usually is compiled of tomatoes, onion, and red bell pepper. or just bell pepper in general. So we're going to be using red bell pepper and a sweet onion here. And we're going to be using some tomato paste for our tomato portion. Not that I wouldn't just use tomato, but tomato paste does have a much more concentrated flavor to it, so that's why we're going to use that. And I would highly recommend buying the stuff in the tube rather than a can, because you can reseal it. And the number of times I've forgotten about cans of tomato paste in my fridge that have then gone bad and moldy because of air exposure, it's just a good idea to get a tube of tomato paste. Anywho, let's go ahead and prep our onion and bell pepper. Now, you would normally just finely mince this, but because I am lazy, and because I'm sure you are as well, especially if you just want to make soup, we're going to throw this into the food processor. So first I just need to peel this sucker and then quarter it. Get the peel off of that. Cut that in half. And get this top layer off. I'm just going to grab a bowl for now to put this so it doesn't fly all over my countertop right now, which can be a problem, especially if you're then trying to clean all the onion peel off your countertop. It goes everywhere, and you're trying to pick little bits off the floor before your cat tries to eat it. Also, this bowl is kind of serving to act as a little bit of a shade to the setting sun that's coming through my window right now and slightly blinding me. So, I mean, if I was extra lazy, which, I don't know if I'm that lazy, I would just peel the top layer off entirely off of this onion. Which I might just do if it keeps kind of, you know what, screw it. Make this easier by reducing the curvature of the peel, thus making it easier to peel. And besides, I needed it kind of in quarters, or at least in just kind of hunks that are easy enough to pulse into my food processor. There we go. There's a quarter. Now, if I was dicing this, I wouldn't have done this. I would have just peeled that top layer right off, just to save myself some time and sanity. But yeah, if you're wondering why I'm also trying to lump 2 recipes into one episode, I mean, not 2 Munchies and Minis, but you get it, is because on Friday, my husband and I will be driving up to Pennsylvania to go visit my little sister and her husband. And that's a 12-hour drive. And we'll be not driving home until Monday, which is the 1st. So, obviously, since I don't want to be trying to write recipe cards and whatnot on a 12-hour drive, when everything I do is on Google Suite, I'm just going to make it easier on myself. So, alright, so I'm just going to cut that into hunks, get that little root end off, bunch that together, root end off, and there we go. Hunk and off, root and hunk. Okay, cool, I've got my onion. So now, I just need to deseed my bell pepper, which that's easy enough. Just cut down the sides, like so. And I'm just going to cut that last little bit so it can go in. Remove that rib. And a few seeds aren't too bad. There we go. And trash. Alright, there you go. So now we're just going to switch to my stove cam, which is kind of a misnomer right now because it's not currently pointed at my stove. It is pointed, in fact, at my food processor. You know how I mentioned I was lazy? Well, I am lazy. So, I'm just going to pop that open with one hand and regret that I even tried doing so. Come on. Ha ha ha. There we are. Throw those onion hunks in there, as well as the bell pepper chunks. There we go. Top that off. And actually remember to plug it in this time. There we go. Alright, good. We are currently... So, I'm just going to pulse that. Until it is well minced. There we go. Just larger pieces off from the top. Alright, and you see I wasn't really trying to go for puree, I'm going more for a mince, which, that's what I got. Less liquid and more chunks. That's kind of, you know, kind of in there. Alright, and I also need, and I hope you're able to see this, just because of the high contrast with, like I said, the sun setting through my window, about ready to start blinding me. Garlic, yes. Since garlic has a tendency to burn quickly, we are not throwing it into our sofrito. That is going to be added later in the cooking process. You know how most recipes tend to only call for like 1 or 2 cloves of garlic, 2 cloves of garlic. I can speak. Yeah, we're not going to do that. We're going to be doing like 4 for this. That's what I did right. Yes, 4 cloves of garlic. Which I then ironically used a counting voice. Huh. I did not plan that. So, get out of there. Aha, there we go. Yay, trash bowl. Okay, so, while I do have a fun little silicone tube doohickey, yes, it looks, and that does sound kind of dirty. Easiest way, I'm just gonna, well, if you don't have a fun silicone tube thingy, here is how to do, take the peel off a clove of garlic with a chef's knife. Just gonna hold it steady, put your blade on the flat against it, and smash it. There you go. And these cloves I think are big enough for me to do that pretty easily without smashing it too much. There we go. There's 2. And smash. I mean, I'm gonna have to mince this up anyway. Oh, I forgot to cut the end off of that. Well, it'll be fine. Just bam. That's off. As well as this little dry bit. That can go away as well. And bam. And one more. Or, here, let me show you the silicone tube thingy. Yes, that doesn't look wrong at all. Just do that over my trash bowl. There we go. And I'm going to hold on to this because I think I need some garlic for my stuffed peppers in just a moment, so do that in a second. And since this is such a pain in the ass to clean, I'm gonna grab another cutting board. Yes, another, specifically for cutting garlic today. So, okay, so when you're mincing garlic, I know it can be a bit of a pain in the butt. Easiest way for me is to take some kosher salt, put it on my cutting board, cut that sucker in half, like so, and smash directly into the salt. It will help break the cell walls of the garlic a little bit better. It keeps it steady on the board, and it kind of helps kind of soften the harshness of the garlic before you even start cooking it. So I'm just gonna then, after I've smashed it, into a flat surface, because that's what a lot of knife skills are. It's creating stable surfaces and, for the most part, even pieces. Just gonna shift that and give that a rough chop slash mince. Slide that directly into my bowl. That's also why. Makes that a little bit easier. So, a little bit of salt, garlic clove half, knife, smash into a stable surface, thinly cut it into batons, switch around, finely mince, and scrape. Only 3 more to go, right, huh? Okay. Salt. Clove. Well, that's pretty flat already, so. And mince. Should have just lifted the board, but I'll live. Okay, that's also pretty flat. Batons. I really hope you're able to see this. I know the color contrast isn't great. I didn't even think about that until I just now looked at my monitor. There we go. All right. And split that in half. Salt. Clove. Smash. There we go. One more to do after this. Even though, like I said, I'm probably gonna have to cut up some for my stuffed peppers recipe, but we might take a break on that as we're waiting for stuff to simmer. Okay. Split in half. Salt. That's pretty flat already. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing there to save some time. There we go. Minced garlic all over the place! Yeah! My hands are all sticky. Okay. Alright. Garlic is minced. Now I'm going to take a little bit of break by working on the mushrooms I have. For my stuffed peppers, or rather, actually no, I'm gonna hold off on the stuffed pepper stuff because I need to take photos, and look at this light, it is so harsh, because sun is setting, yay! Alright, so what else do we need? Well, I'm able to get that, let's get the bacon out. Hi, Ginger. How are you, my princess? Hello? You're not supposed to be in here. She's my pretty princess. Folks, this is Ginger. And she likes to trip me in the kitchen quite often. Isn't that right, my baby girl? Yeah. She's a pretty girl. This little one is 22 years old. And she's been with us since she was about 14. I love you. She's like, Mommy, your hands smell like garlic. This is bullshit. Okay, there you go. So, what kind of cook would I be if I didn't have a condiment of cat fur on everything, including my face? Alright. Ooh. Towel is over here. Yes. Ooh, reminder to self. Drink water. Drinking. Ah, there we go. Okay. Let's throw away that trash because we don't need it. Okay. Is that the sun going behind? No, not quite out yet. Okay. Bacon. Bacon's in the fridge. So I did promise a black bean and bacon soup after all. So, hello again. Can I help you? Can I help you, Squeaker Bell? She knows I'm about to open the bacon up. How are you, my princess? Are you pretty? No. Let's see. I should use a larger pot for this. Do I have a larger pot? I don't think I do. Well, tell you what, we'll cook the bacon about 2 strips at a time then. Okay. There we go. Okay, so you're gonna need about 4 strips of bacon. Though we might actually go with a little bit more than that, depending on how I'm feeling. Because bacon's awesome. And yes, I am saying that as someone with Eastern European backgrounds. Alrighty. So, I'm just gonna preheat my pot about, let's get that on medium heat for about 3 minutes. That should do it. In the meantime, bacon. Bacon, 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 bacon. Stick that to the side. And what was I doing? I was thinking to myself, absolutely nothing. Right, it's time for more water. So crispy. Oh, right, I should line a plate with paper towels for when that bacon finishes cooking. To let it drain and cool off and all that. And also, you just kind of want it to be nice and crispy. So. Might be hot enough, but... Hi! Can I help you, little one? I smell bacon. Yep. At least that's my cat saying that. And in the meantime... Right, did I get decent enough light? Nope, light is still not decent enough. Okay. Fair enough. Right, let's go ahead and get the other ingredients you're going to need for the soup out. You're going to need beef bone broth and beef broth. I mean, do you have to get beef bone broth? No, you don't have to, but I like using it personally because it does give it a little bit more of a velvety mouthfeel. Especially since we are not pulverizing our beans at all with a blender, because blenders are not really a thing in Dungeons & Dragons. I mean, they could be, but not at the Stargath house. So, we are using bone broth to get it to that kind of velvety consistency. Also, the nice thing about using black beans is the stuff that's in the can, all that water and everything that releases from the beans as they're being cooked inside the can is also a great thickener, so we're going to be using that as well. Alright, I think our pan is hot enough for me to add some bacon, so I am going to do that. So, we'll do about 2 strips at a time because my pot is kind of small. Come on. That is if I can get to my strips of bacon without them all completely sticking to each other and staying stuck to each other. Come on. Ah. Now it's a good thing the bacon doesn't have to look pretty. Ah, there we go. The question is this 1 or 2 strips? I am not entirely sure. Ah. You know what, I think I might be able to end up getting all 4 strips in at the same time. It's just gonna come out as kind of a bacon patty than strips of bacon. But you know, that's alright, because it'll chop up the same. That is 2 strips stuck together. Haha, there we go. And, oh, what the heck, you can join the party too. We'll do 6 strips. It'll be kind of a bacon patty thing. Hey, as long as it cooks and crisps up, it'll be fine. So add bacon to your discretion. And my discretion is apparently not that high. Sue, where are you? Towel. Towel, towel, towel. Did I actually soap my hands? Better redo it just to make sure. Raw bacon is something I do not want contaminating other things with. So, there we go. There's my towel. Always have your towel ready. And Ginger is looking rather perturbed. She smells bacon, and none of it is in front of her. Got a feeling she's gonna try to trip me again. Okay, bacon. Bacon can go in the bag, and then can go in the fridge. Woo! There we go. Hi. Do you want to say hi to my viewers again? No, Mommy, I want bacon. There's all this bacon, and you're not giving it to me. This is bullshit. Okay. Just gonna flip that. And get ready to transfer this. And there's some other measurements we do need to do. Mostly, we need to measure the broth. So, I did say earlier that you're going to need broth, so we're going to need about a cup of beef broth and a cup of beef bone broth. So, just go ahead and go back to our prep. So, there is beef broth, and oh wait, no, that's the bone broth. Well, it all measures out the same anyway, so a cup of regular beef broth and a cup of beef bone broth. There we go. Our broths are measured. And put back into the fridge. General rule is if you don't need it anymore, just put it back. Clean as you go. Check on the bacon before I trip on my cat again. Derp-a-derp-a-derp, derp-a-derp. There we go. Still cooking. I want that crispy to make it all, like, add that nice little bit of crunch to the soup. Alright, let's see, what else do we need to measure? We need, goodness, broths, we got the beans, need to open the beans, but not yet. And I think I've got good enough light, I think, to start taking pictures of, that's right, I need lemon juice too. We'll just put that to the side. I also need tomato paste, but when does that go in? That goes in a bit. We'll just put that nearby with a tablespoon when I actually need it. Alright, let's check on this bacon. Okay. Not ready quite to come out yet. So I'm just going to continue to let that render until it is to a point where it will crisp up as it continues to cook while it's drying out. We are not at that point yet. So, I think my light is decent enough. Yeah, my light is decent enough to get some prep photos for my bell peppers. So, I'm just going to do a little bit of that. Get a little bit of behind the scenes stuff for my blog for what's it called? Thrash's Lantern Fruit Rellenos. And it's kind of funny considering that in the game Battle Chef Regain, the finished meal image of Thrash's Lantern Fruit Rellenos don't actually look like the traditional chili rellenos that you would find in Mexico. It looks more just like stuffed bell peppers, so that's what we're doing. Oh right, let's check that bacon because it's starting to smell like it's getting crispy on me. Yes, that's looking pretty darn done. So we're just gonna fish that out. I'll let that dry. And now I have all that hot bacon fat there. So now, let's make it start spitting everywhere by putting in that sofrito we made earlier. Work quickly to cover the bacon fat. because otherwise it will sputter and burn your hands. You do not want that. For those just joining us, this is a mixture of minced sweet onion and red bell pepper, which is often a flavor base for a lot of traditional kind of rustic Spanish cooking. We're just gonna get that on there and give that a pinch of salt. And let that cook for, how long did I write down for have it cook? You want it to cook for about 5 minutes or until tender. It's pretty darn tender, but I really want to cook off some of that excess moisture. So we're gonna set about a timer for about 5 minutes, stir it intermittently as we work, just to kind of make that do its thing. Okay, good, I've got decent enough lighting, or at least stable enough lighting, to go ahead and get a picture of this. So this recipe is going to be bell peppers stuffed with a mixture of white crab meat, queso fresco, mushrooms, garlic, and what else did I throwing in there? I wrote it down. I wrote it down this afternoon. Butternut squash. And the reason for that is in the level that the lantern fruit is found in Battle Chef Brigade, it's caverns. And right check switch is set to locked. No. Let's change that. Oh, that's not good. Please work. Please, please work. Oh. Okay, that's scary because the lock just popped right off of my camera card and fell. Where the hell did you go? I seriously hope I'm able to get these photos. That'll really suck. I've got another card. Considering I've got the last couple of recipes worth of photos on this card, I will be sorely sad if I'm not able to access them. Oh boy, that would suck. Well, let's hope this one works. Okay. Ah, that's right, I have a auto. But in the meantime, let's take a quick look to make sure that's not burning. Give that a stir. As we continue to cook off that excess moisture. Alright. Alright, let's see, turn off flash. Okay. There we go. Now normally I have the tripod holding this camera up, but the tripod's currently holding my webcam up, so we're not gonna bother with that. But as I was saying, it takes place in the caverns. The only sources of meat are from Hydra, which fish stuff, peppers, also trying to get a hold of eel is kind of a pain in the butt at American grocery stores. There are lupir, which are wolves, flaming wolves, and okay, that's cool and all, but at the same time, I would have to do a mix of ground lamb and ground beef to get that kind of flavor. Yes, I did actually have to look up what dog tasted like. Not gonna do that because then it gets really expensive. So the other animal that can, well, there's lizards, and cragmore, which are giant crabs. So we're gonna be doing crab meat. Butternut squash, because there is a candle gourd that looks like a butternut squash, except that it is on fire, like you do. It's a candle, and it's a gourd, like you do. And so that's the bell peppers and mushrooms. I need my crab meat. Yes, I'm taking pictures of cans. Crab meat. What else do I need in there? Sour cream. Oh, hi. How are you? You're in my way again, princess. Queso fresco, sour cream. All right. Because for some reason, people like progress photos or ingredient shots for food blogs. So, let's see how we are. Okay, good. My cat's not behind me. All right, and perfect timing because our timer just went off and it looks like the majority of our moisture cooked off. I'm going to cook it for just one more minute just to get a little bit more off that and kind of hi. Kind of encourage a little bit of browning on the vegetables there. Hi, Ginger. It's kind of adorable. Let me just, she is... Hi. How are you? Can I help you? Yeah? I love you too. Even though you try to trip me in my kitchen. So, back to the stove. There we go. Back there. Okay. Ooh, yeah, now the scent of that bell pepper is really coming up, which is good. That is what I wanted. Okay. Did I need to mince anything? I needed to cut mushrooms, but I can do that once I've got this next part of the recipe happening. And that next part is stirring in the garlic for about 60 seconds. So 4 cloves of minced garlic. Setting a timer for 60 seconds because garlic does burn quickly. Basically, I'm trying to cook it up to release the oils. Kind of break down that cell structure a little bit. And kind of let that meld without burning it. So I'm just going to add another touch of kosher salt. We'll add another touch of that. There we go. Got my beef broth here. Got my bacon, which I'm going to go... I already got a picture of that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and chop up my bacon. Because I totally can now. Oh, I'll just use this cutting board that had garlic on it. I'm gonna have to cut out some more garlic, but this keeps getting bacon grease from being on my main board. Okay, but the garlic, I'm still getting a little bit of a raw scent on that, so I just need to stir it a wee bit more. And while I am waiting for that to cook, I need to grab a tablespoon of tomato paste. Right down, isn't it? Yes, a tablespoon of tomato paste. So, a bit more, and a little bit more. Bam. Give that a stir to coat. Okay. All right. Now I pour in both cups of broth. And 2 15.25 ounce cans of black beans. And no, you do not need to drain these suckers. Just pour it right in. There we go. Give that a stir to settle it. And I'm really wishing I used a larger pot. I'm not gonna lie. Hi. Can I help you? Yeah? Okay, so now I just need to wait for that to get to a boil. Yes. Over high heat. So I'm just gonna pipe the heat up a bit. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and chop up the bacon some. Switching back to our Alright. And I'm going to take about half of that and put that into my soup. There we go. And the rest of that I'm going to be using for garnish, so just going to put that into my prep bowl. Ready to go when needed. Okay, so now I just need to wait for that to boil. So, okay. It smells lovely. Okay, what was I gonna do? Right, so while I'm waiting for water to boil, now it's time to work on my other dishes. So, while I am waiting, just gonna take a paring knife right over here. Actually, no, I don't need to do that. I'm not doing apple hollowing out. Just gotta cut off the top. And yes, that paring knife actually does come in handy for this next bit. Spoon. Okay. And I'm just gonna use same paring knife and slice out the ribs. There we go. Right. And where's my square? Here's my square baking dish. Here we are. Just gotta give that a rinse. set that into my baking dish. I'm running out of room. Shove things over here, push and shove and push. Alright. Bell pepper number 2. Go. And I'm just gonna get a quick picture of that. It looks like our soup is bubbling, but not quite boiling. Just gonna give that a stir. We are definitely getting there, though. So I'm still going to keep an eye on that while I'm taking a photo. All right. A quick rinse to get any leftover seeds out of there. Absolutely necessary? Maybe not, but I'm just going to hold on to the stems for now because I'm going to be using part of it for garnish. There we go. Oh boy. All right. So I'm just gonna put the heat on low so it doesn't boil over on me. And set a timer for about, I think it's 10 minutes, I think I wrote down. Yes, 10 minutes. So, cool. While we are waiting, I'm just gonna continue to work on this blog post recipe. So. Though, now that I think about it, since I do need the stovetop still, I'm just gonna switch this over to the next burner and get that on low to boil. So, back to this. Help if I took the sticker off, come to think of it. We do not want that in there. Or this one. Don't need that there either. I hope I took the sticker off. Yes, I did take the sticker off before I put it in the food processor. I did. I promise I did. Okay. Let's get that one off first. Should come to think of it, a spoon's probably a little more effective looking at this. And less likely to cut your fingers off. I will admit I'm not the biggest fan of using paring knives. Just don't really feel like I have much control over them, which I know sounds weird, but that's just how it's been with me, oddly enough. Alright, so I've got that in a microwave safe and oven safe baking dish. Just going to put a touch of water in said dish. Find my plastic wrap wherever it ran off to. Where did you go? Here it is. I'm just gonna microwave that. I'll start at about 2.5 minutes, but ultimately it's gonna be up to 5 to kind of soften these guys up a little bit. And turn off the timer there. Let's do 2.5 minutes to start, and back on the soup timer. Give that a bit of a stir. Okay. All right. Get rid of this. And now you're going to need about 8 ounces of mushrooms. So basically these guys. It's about a ½ pound or kind of a small carton of mushrooms. We're just going to dice those up, and by dice I mean kind of a ½ inch slice. And as you see, like with a lot of other knife work I do, a lot of this is creating stable surfaces, and for the most part, even pieces. Or roughly the same size pieces, so they cook in roughly the same amount of time. Go. Okay. Check on those bell peppers. How soft are these guys? A little bit, but they can probably go a little longer. So I'm going to do about another minute. I'll do about 1.5 minutes. Alright, I just remembered that I need to preheat my oven to about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you're thinking, holy crap, that's a lot of mushrooms. Yeah, thing is, mushrooms are kind of like little sponges. They will they already have a ton of moisture in them, so once I cook the moisture out, it's gonna shrink up to about half that size. Possibly even more, like possibly even less. But the nice thing about it then is it just absorbs all the flavors that you're cooking, while adding its own kind of savoriness. Okay. Alright, that's all my mushrooms. And I've got a new trash container, yay! Alright. And that was the timer on my bell peppers. How are we doing now? Those... Oof. Honestly, I think they could probably just go a wee bit longer, so that's about a minute left. Okay. Cool. Alright. So got that. I need to cut up my garlic again. And find where the heck I put my salt. Ah, here we are. So, because I don't have nearly as much patience as I had earlier, I'm going to use this silicone tube thingy. It dumps out a ton of garlic peel onto my cutting board. Ugh. Get that out of there. There we go. Use this thingy to get the garlic peel off. Oh, there's one. There is two. Come on. Ha. There we go. Ah. And we'll do the big one here. All right. There we go. Oh, that preheated quickly. All right, what was that timer going off? That timer was going off on the soup. So let me go ahead and check that out. Just gonna give that a taste. Now, here is an easy way to taste your food without cross-contaminating things. You take a small dish, like so. You put a little bit into that small dish, like so. And you drink directly from the dish. Okay, that's good. But it definitely needs the last touch I need on, which is a little bit of cooking acid and a bit of salt. However, we did have a lot of salt from the bacon. So, I'm just going to add about 2 pinches of salt to that. And, how much lemon juice did I actually write down for this thing? About 1/4 cup of lemon juice. So, we'll start with 1/8 of a cup to see how that goes. I'm just going to bring that up to... that a stir. And taste it. No, it definitely needs that quarter cup. So, quarter cup of lemon juice. And a wee bit more salt. If you're worried about that being a lot, don't be. It's really, kosher salt has a very low salinity point. It also dissolves quickly. So as I'm stirring this, I'm going to get that instant flavor boost as soon as I try it. Alright. That is good. Okay, so just because I would like that to thicken it a little bit more, I'm going to simmer that on kind of a medium-low for another 5 minutes. The thing is, that's the thing about cooking, your ingredients are going to vary some, so a lot of it is going to be judgment by flavor. So, okay. Right. But in the meantime, we obviously have some stuff to do. So, we're going to do that stuff. Let's get our skillet and point it down here. There we go. And now I'm going to be preheating the skillet on medium heat for about, how long? About 3 minutes, I think. About 2 or 3 minutes. And I've got some garlic to smash. So, as I'm waiting, let's go ahead and get that taken care of. Alright, it's one. And get my kosher salt back here. Oh, I'm just going to reduce the heat back onto the soup. So we are definitely at a boil, and I don't want that to boil over. Okay. There we go. And smash one. Smash two. Tiny little planks. Rotate and mince. This is why having that smaller cutting board is nicer for mincing garlic, as you can see. So, smash. Smash. There we go. Tiny little planks. Rotate. And mince. And that is all of the garlic we'll be needing for this recipe. Yay, that was fast and easy. I promise I usually cook a lot faster than I do in Munchies and Minis. It's just, thing is, when I'm showing you how to do something, it's going to take a wee bit more time. And speaking of time, it is time to start cooking our mushrooms. So let's switch back to our stove cam. A very hot skillet. Just gonna dump the mushrooms out. Don't even need any oil because there is already enough moisture in these mushrooms to act as its own non-stick surface. As it cooks, it's going to be releasing the water from inside the ingredients, and it's going to kind of provide sort of a non-stick surface to the pan. Also, it will make it more likely to brown and get a little bit more of the Maillard reaction on there. I know it's a mushroom, not a, what's it called, meat, but that little bit of browning does make a difference in flavor, especially when it adds a little bit of fond to your pan. So, just have to wait until those release their juices, so that's going to take a wee bit of time. In the meantime, let's get the bell peppers out of the microwave. And give that a wee bit of stir. See how it's releasing. There we go. Okay. Just gotta drain these guys here. Get all the water out. Soften sufficiently enough. This over here, and this over here, because I don't need it. And that is the sound of our oven coming up to the proper temperature to bake these suckers. Awesome. Drain that. Drain that. Whew, hot. I'm gonna do this with a pair of tongs because technology is a thing, especially when technology doesn't burn my hands. All right, this is touch raw bacon. This is not. So, yes, we have tools. Tools are a thing. Even though I've already kind of burned my fingers a little bit, but it's fine. It's all fine. We're fine. Okay, and I probably should have put a trivet underneath that. There we go. Trivet. And let's check up on our mushrooms. And it looks like the timer for my soup went off. So, just gonna take a look at that. Try to give that a stir. Okay. Give the broth a wee bit of a taste. Once I find where my tasting bowl went, here it is. Oh, that's excellent. Okay. The soup is done. So I'm just gonna let it cool. Over here. Oh no, we'll keep it there. Just gonna let it cool. Okay. And as you can see, those things are cooking down without any oil at all. Alright, so there are other things I need to mix up into this, and those things are to do butternut squash, which I need to chop up a little finer. Gonna need about half a cup of butternut squash. I move this and move this and do that. There is a little tab to open this thing. And I think, aha! I think that's gonna work. Yes. Well, yes, I could get my own butternut squash. I am lazy. Let's get half a cup. chop this a wee bit finer. So it's roughly about the same consistency. There we go. And it's okay to be a heaping half a cup there. Right, I'm just gonna dump that on the lid. There we go. And check on my mushrooms. Okay, so these are done. So, now I'm just going to add a drizzle of olive oil. And add that butternut squash that I just kind of roughly chopped up. Eh. Pinch of kosher salt. And that I want to saute and get a bit browned because I've got other things I need to do. Those other things are things and stuff and things. Oh, right. So, right, I'm just going to add about a quarter cup of water to that to help release the fond as well as kind of soften up that butternut squash some. And that looks pretty, so I'm going to get a picture of that. I mean, isn't that pretty? At least it would be if you could actually see it. I'm not really sure if it's showing all that well in the screen. Okay, so... when did I actually say I was going to put garlic in? Alright. Garlic goes in... here. Okay, so, to make things significantly less annoying on myself, instead of having to cook up some wild rice, I just bought it pre-made. So, we are not quite there yet. Meantime, I also need to drain out my crab meat. That is, if my magnetic part of my can opener doesn't get caught to my knife block, like it just did. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to add the garlic. Gotta just cook that while stirring until it's fragrant. And you'll know because that sharp garlic smell that you're getting right at the beginning will mellow out some. So now I'm going to add my crab meat. The trouble with crab meat, it does tend to have kind of a fishy sort of scent to it. I'm trying to avoid that some, like cooking off a little bit of it. Get the rice in there too. Just another half cup of water. To release that some. This is also when I'm going to add my ground coriander. Challenge, did I say anything about a half teaspoon? That's a teaspoon. That's a half teaspoon. Alright, so let's put that right back into this mixing bowl. Let that cool off some. Well, do a quick clean on this skillet. Set that aside. Okay, let's go ahead and turn off the fan now, because alright, I'm just gonna let this cool some. Okay. In the meantime, since the reason why you guys are here is, in fact, for my soup recipe, let's go ahead and plate some soup. So, just find myself a bowl. Let's go with one of these guys. It's pretty. I'm just going to let that cool down a touch to thicken up and before I swirl it and plate it. That's still pretty dang hot. In the meantime, alright, so now I just need sour cream, about a quarter cup, which is here. Whew, that would have been bad. Camera strap got caught on my kitchen drawer. Oof. Alright. So. There we go. That is a quarter cup. Next, I'll need a half a cup of queso fresca. And my half cup measuring cup's about right here. Just break that off and crumble it. Yeah. Keep myself from snacking on this stuff as I go. Okay. Now we're going to keep that out because, for one, it's nice to snack on. And also, we're just going to garnish what's left of it with this. I'm just going to get a quick pic of that. Probably don't need it, but it's good to have some stuff, some photos ready to go. Okay. I'm just going to divvy that up between my peppers. Alright. And let's see. Ah. Right. And what was I gonna do? Right, picture. I don't know, I'm kind of tempted to... No. I mean... I'm tempted, but it doesn't really look quite right. No. We'll just put it in as is. In the oven for about 20 minutes. Ooh. Okay. So just for the last bit, we're going to do... take about a half a tablespoon of sour cream. Stick that straight in the center. And we're just going to swirl that. Then take some fresh chives. Chop them up. Settle that on top. Then I got some fresh peppermint from my garden. Grab a couple of leaves. Probably don't need this many. I'll just kind of get those into a little bundle. Give that a quick chop. A little mound. And then finish the whole look off. Few fresh raspberries. Is it weird? Only if you think about it. But believe it or not, raspberries and black beans go very well together. Cheers! So I would like to thank you for joining me for this episode of Munchies and Minis. I know it was very short, but this is actually a pretty quick recipe, as you can see. Stay tuned to my blog for the stuffed peppers recipe that I've been working on this afternoon. That will be up in a couple of weeks. And also stay tuned to the blog, I want to say next week. I didn't get to actually write any blog posts this week, so we'll be back with the blog around that time. And also, please, please, please come back next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, because I will be having a very special guest on this show. It's not going to be Munchies and Minis. It's going to be more of a bonus episode because we're going to be featuring local meadery, Viking Alchemist Meadery, for a recipe for what I'm calling Edun's apples. They're going to be pear almond mead poached apples that have then been wrapped in puff pastry and baked with a little bit of poaching liquid in the center as a dipping sauce. It'll be very tasty. I'll be having Ben Coffey, their one of their sales reps. I don't know if he's the main one, but a good friend of the family, that he'll be joining with me, and we'll be doing a little bit of cooking and a bit of mead tasting. Also, if you watch the episode or just kind of stay in touch with the blog, I will be having a promo code associated with the blog to get a discount off of ordering mead through like a Vino shipper site. I'll have more info when we actually do the episode, so keep an eye on that. I'm very excited. It's kind of my first sponsored episode of Munchies and Minis, so looking very much forward to that. Anyway, before I take up any more of your evening, I've got a kitchen to clean and bell peppers to finish cooking, as well as photograph. So, thank you again for joining me. I hope to see you again next week. It'll be a lot of fun, and yeah, as always, stay safe, stay sane, stay you. My name is Catherine Barson Eastis, and you are watching, well, we're watching, The Gluttonous Geek Presents Munchies and Minis. Thank you very much. Have a good night.